In this video, I'm going to show you something that everyone should have. It's an amazing piece of equipment and I can't wait to show you. So let's stop wasting time and let's get into this video. Alright guys, thank you for clicking on this video. My name's Darren, and if you haven't been on this channel before, this is Electro Savvy. We talk about electrical work, tools, and tech. So let's dive into this video. What I got here today is something really special. It's an outlet from Leviton. It's a company, it's a trusted company. They've always made good products, and this is another one that I didn't even know it existed. So what I've got in my hand here is their PD line, which means power delivery, and I'm going to show you this box. You see it? I know people are saying, hey, I've seen those before. Maybe you have, but this is not just a normal 110 outlet that has a USB port. What this outlet can do is output 30 watts out of the C ports. So it's a charging power block that's built into the 110 receptacle, and it's huge. If you look at the box, you can see that this thing is deeper than a GFI. If you've ever put one of those in, it takes up a lot of space in the box. This takes up more. So there's not a lot of room to work with, especially if it was a single gang box. But let me tell you, if you can get these wires in this thing and properly put it in the wall, you got something special. Because let me tell you what this thing can do and why it's so convenient to have it. In this day and age, everybody has a flagship phone or an iPhone or something that requires more wattage for charging. What's cool about this is you can put this in a dedicated area, maybe your bedroom, maybe it's a place in the kitchen. What this thing will do is have 30 watts of power just by plugging it a C-port cord into the wall. This thing was about 30 bucks, and I know that's expensive, but not really. Because a good charging block that's 30 watts, you're gonna spend $20, I mean, anyway. So why not have something that's permanent in the wall that can just charge your phone just by plugging it up into the wall? And I'm not saying, hey, go install 50 of these. Yeah, that would be expensive, but if you could put them in dedicated areas that you are mostly spending, time in your house, I think this is so worth it. I'm gonna install this in my house. When I found this, now I think I found it at Home Depot. I went to Lowe's and Home Depot. I didn't check really good, but what it led me to doing is looking on Amazon to see if they had any of these or maybe a higher wattage. And lo and behold, I come across a 65 watt receptacle. So having the convenience just to plug a C-port cable into the wall and just straight into my computer or straight into my phone without having charging blocks and juggling wires and stuff like that, that is awesome. But anyway, let's dive into this project. What I'm going to show you today is what it looks like out of the box. We're going to talk a little bit about what it can do, which I think I filled you in already. It's basically a 30 watt charging block built into a 110 decor outlet. So let's get into this box and I'll show you a little bit up close and then we're gonna wire this sucker. All right, so I've got it out the box and this is what it looks like. So the way that this one is wired, they have a brass screw and a silver screw. So this is your neutral and this is your hot. I'm glad they went with this design, and it looks like it's got some kind of air venting here. I'm sure this thing gets pretty warm. I don't think it has a fan, but here's the ground. So this is it. Leviton power delivery outlet. So this thing has C ports with 30-watt output. It's got the output of a good iPhone charger. Let's go ahead and wire this thing. All right, guys, before we start, I want to go over some tools that I'm using, and one of the tools that I'm going to use is the Klein screwdriver. This one is a 14-in-1, but if you don't have that, a flathead and a Phillips screwdriver would work to do this job. If you got a screw gun handy, that would be good too. Also, I'm going to use these Milwaukee pliers. It's one of those multi-tools that you see, and you know, it's got strippers, and this one's a little different than the one that I showed in a previous video. It actually has a flatter tip on the end, if you can see that. But anyway, if you have a screw gun, that would work too. I'm just going to take you through the steps, and I imagine that someone that wants one of these outlets in their house, there's an existing outlet that's in the wall, and we're going to take an existing outlet that I have on my display wall just to show you the steps. Earlier I was talking about how big this outlet is. It doesn't have a lot of room. I mean, you're not going to have a lot of room in a single gang box. This thing is huge. But anyway, let's change the view, and we'll start this project. The first thing you do is remove this receptacle cover plate. All right, so then it exposes the outlet, and I've already tested this thing out, so it's dead. If you're in the same situation I'm in with all these hooks, what I would do is repurpose them. You know, all this should be off, which I double checked. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna re-straighten these hooks out where I can reuse them. Because the way that this outlet this new outlet that we're putting in, the way that it's designed, it's got like a slip in the back lug. So you slip it in there, and then when you tighten down these screws here, that smashes the wire, and it has it for 2 wires here. This is tight, but I would feel a lot better if this was in here like that. Okay, now I'm happy with this ground. They got it designed where you could push it in, but it's not much screw grabbing it, so I would rather do it this way anyway. Tighten that down. Okay, all these wires have already been pre-done. Like I said, some of them ain't that long, but let's go with neutral first. Go with the shortest one. Boom. Alrighty. In there nice. All right, same deal. Start with the shortest one. You can always bend the longest one. Okay. All right, so let's flip this around, and because this is so massive, you want to start shaping this wire because it's all got to go in that box. So what I would do is just kind of get some folds to start, and with your hand, just push it in. All right, so that went in. That went in pretty good. Let me get my screw, and we'll start a screw. All right, so I went and grabbed my meter just to test it out. It's 123. 123.3 volts. But that did work. Let's plug this C port up. See how it works. Let me grab my iPhone. Look at that. The only thing difference with this outlet is that it has 30 watts on its output. So that's going to be awesome. But I just wanted to show you that it did work. And that's how simple it could be. All right, guys, so that's just about it for this video. I've got my iPhone plugged up to this new outlet and got my phone charging. It was at about 55 when I plugged it in, and look, I don't know if it's been 5 minutes or 3 minutes, but it's sitting at 77. And I'll tell you what, it charges very fast. I had a 20-watt wall charger that I use for my iPhone, and I can tell you that this one is about 15% faster. So do I think it's worth it for the $29, 30 bucks? Yes, indeed. I think it's so convenient now that I'm going to be able to install one of these at an outlet that I'm normally plugging into. And it's going to free up space where I can plug something else up instead of having a big blocky charging block. As far as this being a difficult job, it was not difficult at all. It was very straightforward. It tells you where to put the white wire and where to put the black wire. Green is ground. And if you don't feel like you're confident enough to do this job, if you find like you're just not comfortable with it, hire an electrician. They're not going to charge you much. This video was to show you how to do it. And if you follow the steps that I showed you in this video, you shouldn't have any problem installing this thing on your own. Make sure the electricity's off. That's no joke. You've seen that I turned the power back on and I tested it with my meter. That's something that you definitely need to do. You don't want to be working on this while it's hot. But anyway, y'all, look, if you like videos like this and you want to see more of them, like and subscribe my channel. And if you had any questions about today's video or any questions dealing with electricity, leave it in the comments. My name's Darren. This is Electro Savvy, and I'll see you in the next one.